Good morning. How's everybody doing? Is it Saturday? I think it's Saturday, right? I feel like it's Saturday. Becca shared the live because no one else gets alerted except for Becca, and everybody relies on her, which is so adorable and sweet, and we love it. We love her for it, but we don't love TikTok for it, because it would be so great if TikTok would just do the alerting on their own and that Becca didn't have to be in charge of it. Why are you making this sound? Oh, that's why. Okay, that was my fault. I'm gonna blame myself for that one. Are you okay? No, come on, be okay. I didn't mean it. Okay, it's okay. I fixed it. Do you like South Park? I've not seen it. But I do have a friend who was on South Park. I saw her scene. Come on. You can't do this. What? I have to go to the store. I didn't have special colors. All right, it's working now. Sasha, I'm stressed about your coffee maker. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm also a little stressed about my coffee maker, and I might call them and like ask them, oops, I might call them and ask them, you know, what's up with it, and about your shampoo situation. Yeah, Mom just called down, she forgot to bring shampoo home with her, but she can't use my shampoo, because look at my hair. I'm gonna go buy her shampoo in a little bit. Good morning, Dr. And now Cole has his phone. Hey Cole, what's shaking bacon? I don't know how much this will last generators. Oh my gosh, Misty, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that this is going on for you. I can't believe it's still going on. I'm so sorry. That's such a pain in the butt. Literally the worst. Oh my gosh, why are there 211 people on here? Wait, who are you all? 211 people on our morning live? You're all gonna disappear in a second, right? Who are you all? Hello. Welcome to the morning. Thank you for the new follow, Random TikTok Tips. Just watched your YouTube day one because focusing isn't my jam. Fair enough. Fair enough. No, it's totally randos, I'm sure, but I'm just curious of what they're doing. Now they're disappearing. Wait, nope, they're coming back. Hello. If you are new here, tell us who you are. We would love to talk to you, I suppose, as long as you're chill. This is my Beetlejuice cup. They're going to disappear because you don't make slime. Exactly. They totally are. I'm making coffee. This is my Beetlejuice cup. I love it. And because it's Saturday, I'm going to add whipped cream. Because, you know, book talk. Yes, book talk. See, that person might stay. I'm not new. Well, welcome. But the person who said book talk might be here for a reason. Back to Beetlejuice. That's right. It's clean now. Look at that. Look at that. I'm sorry. But those perfect pours, it's been fun to say the least. Yeah, no, seriously. I landed on book talk, that's why. I'm not mad about that. That makes sense. You have a Spider-Man mug? I mean, like, this is my favorite moment of the morning when I pour the coffee and it's like a perfect fit. It's just like right there. Love it. Makes me very happy. Have you seen the Katy Perry thing? No? That's pretty vague though, Sweet Pea. 2 days in a row too. I know. You have a Grogu mug? That's cool. What kind of mug is everyone drinking out of? What's everyone's mug? Chef's Kiss, perfect. Putting away the kids' clothes, glad you're on. Yes, it'll keep you entertained. Yeah, what's Katy Perry up to? You have a Donald Duck mug? A cow? I dig that. I have a lot of cow stuff. I'm literally still in bed. That's also fine. I'm using my mod cup. Yes, mod cup. That's some good stuff. I gotta tell y'all though, I'm getting mugs made that say this is fine with the thing that my sister-in-law made. We're making it into a mug. A Sailor Moon mug, that's pretty great. But like I'm making the shirts and the sweatshirts like everybody asked, like no question. But I'm making a mug of the "this is fine" meme because like, yeah, no, I'm making it as a hoodie. I actually found a website. This is so great, you guys. I found a Black Lives Matter mug. That's an important one. I found a website that will do all different sizes, and you can just like choose the quantity, or not the quantity, the different things. But I really wanted mugs, sweatshirts. I wanted tank tops, but the design looks really stupid on a tank top, so we're not doing tank tops. Mugs, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and there's a couple of different designs for the t-shirts. I'm working on it. When is your run? It's over. I did it. On American Idol, she said, "We can save this after a girl sang Broadway." Katie, what was she thinking? What was she thinking? I don't know about V-neck because, so I'll show you later, Shelly, but the way that they're printed is like, hey, darling, haven't seen you in a while. It's weird. The way that they're printed, like, some of the designs don't work on certain styles of clothing, you know what I mean? I have to look it up. It's either Printify or Printfully or, like, something like that. I'll look it up later. Wow, my hair's doing some real cute stuff. Real cute stuff. Let's have a sip of our delightful Beetlejuice coffee. Hey, Karen. Well, Harley, that is certainly something. Make a designer that says switch hands. Yeah, we are. We're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff. Busy at work, I introduced slime to the residents. Yes. Oh my gosh, your Beetlejuice username and the Beetlejuice cup. Becca, I was gonna say, I saw that it is snowing in New Jersey. Is it snowing for you guys also? All right. Not mad to be on book talk. These are probably the people we want to hang with in the morning. Just so everyone knows, we are reading a book right now called The Circus Train. I can actually hear you. Missy, that's so sweet. It's cold and rainy in Manhattan. We hit 71 yesterday. I was so happy. I would like it to hit 71 here. That'd be great. Oh yes, for the past 24 hours, every time I look outside, it's snowing. Do the kids like that or not like that? Are they like into it? I like these more low-key lives, less people. Yeah, I totally agree, T. I totally agree. It's a lot chiller. We're going to read. People are going to start dropping off once they realize that we're here for reading, not for slime. And it'll just be like 30 of us, and it's all good. Or maybe we'll have a couple new book talk people today. Who knows? Also on Saturdays, we tend to have a couple more people because people are off work and stuff like that. So I just can't. Yeah, I can't wait till we hit 70 here either. So for anyone who is unaware, by request of some people who can't always make the morning lives, I've started to upload the morning lives to YouTube for anyone who misses them so that you can see the book discussions and things like that in the aftermath if you miss it. Missy, that I don't know if you heard that yesterday, but that would be really great for you in the situation that you're in right now with your power, so that you can go and catch up with everybody later, especially because I know this book is particularly poignant for you. That's the whole kit and caboodle with the book. So we're going to read this morning and have a rip-roaring time. I bet it's confusing when you can't see the comments. It would be really confusing if you can't see the comments. Yeah, I can't even imagine what... You said my name on YouTube and I was doing 7... Becca, I say your name all the time. You have to just be used to it at this point, right? That being said, I do try to call everyone by name if I can. I try to anyway. You know, your mug is super cool. Thank you, Bridget. I'm not always successful, but I do my best because, I don't know, just feels like I don't know why. I don't have an answer. And so that's why I thought I should reply for a second. You were like, wait, I have to go type her. And then you were like, wait, it's not real. She's not really there. That's pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what. Oh my god, a creator is doing skits with a character who has my name and it's trippy. That is trippy. That is trippy. Yeah. All right. Let's read because we're so into this book. If any of you are new, I missed last time, so this is perfect. Yeah, definitely, Haley. So for any of you who are unaware, this book is set in 1938. And it is called The Circus Train, and it is literally about a circus train and the people on it in 1938. I got the book on audiobook so I can keep up this week. Last book club for... Nice, that's amazing. How is the reader on it? I love audiobooks, but I'm very particular about voice. How is the reader on this book? Did you hear that they may be making another Beetlejuice? I didn't hear that. I did not. Mm-mm. What? I guess that would be cool. I don't know. I hate when my name is on TV because I always say Rebecca like they're mad. Aw. I see the loading dots from time to time, but I'm going to try to put words together like a puzzle. Missy, I'm so sorry. I really am. Okay. Do you guys want to, earlier today I was talking to my mom and she goes, "This is like your morning show." I was like, "Yeah, Mom, it's like my morning show." It is. This is our morning show. So we're going to call this The Morning Show. I haven't listened yet. I'm hoping it's a good voice though. I hope so too. There's a couple of books that I've been disappointed because I really wanted to listen to them, and then I hear the voice and I'm like, ugh, I can't stand this person for 25 hours. So I end up doing something else. I like the picture for your YouTube reading. Yeah, it's peaceful, right? It's just chill. Apple TV might sue for copyright infringement. Oh, right. Well, let's just call it Sasha's morning ... show. How about that? That's good enough, right? We'll just roll with it. Okay. We are on You're Such a Morning Person. I'll chipper while I'm half dead still. I am a morning person, actually. Yes, I am a morning person. But I also did make slime until 11 p.m. last night, so am I also a night person? I don't know. Y'all, the slimes I made last night, chef's kiss. Okay, so we're on chapter 6 already, and since we've only had 2 days of this book, that speaks volumes about this book. You're just a higher energy person. I am a higher energy person. Last time I was here, we were reading My Name is Memory. Oh my gosh, we've read a whole nother book since then. This is our second book since then. That was a great book, though. My Name is Memory was amazing. Can't wait to see the green slime. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you what I did with the green slime. I thought I missed the live because I got off a plane and I realized I've been up since your 3 a.m. Oh, Abby, I'm so sorry. Or as I continue to see Dr. Joy to see why I'm still tired all the time. I am tired all the time, but I just felt like that was just my way of being, so I just kind of roll through it. But I hear you, and you definitely should see doctors about it. Okay, chapter 6. The next day was Saturday, and Lena was looking forward to a full day of playing checkers and eating cherry tarts with Alexandra. She checked the clock, noting that he might be back soon from his exercise sessions with Dr. Wilson, and began dividing up the black and red pieces for their game. "Hi," Lena sang out, hearing the doorknob turn. "You're just in time." "It's only me," Theo chuckled, walking over to her bedside. "Oh, that happy to see your papa, eh?" Theo bent down to kiss his daughter. "Perhaps my news will change your mind." "What news?" Horace agreed to let Alexander stay, but on one condition, Theo said, his face going serious as he saw Lena's face perk up. "We must protect his identity as a Jew. You mustn't tell anyone who he really is. It's too dangerous." Lena nodded and gulped. She still didn't understand why Horace didn't like Jewish people, but she wanted Alexander to stay on board as long as he could. There was no chance of her saying anything to jeopardize that. "The second bit of news is, well, I'll show you," Theo said, leaving the room. Lena clenched her fists in anticipation. Perhaps her father had bought her a puppy. She imagined herself showing it off to Alexander, thinking what he would say. But instead of a new pet, her father re-entered with her wheelchair. "What are you doing?" she asked, her face going pale. "Dr. Wilson said your leg is fine," Theo said cheerfully, bringing the chair to her bedside. "We'll have you back to your routine just in time for the holidays." Lena recoiled from the chair, pulling the blanket up closer to her chin. "No," she said, feeling miserable. "No?" Theo gave her a confused look. "Surely you don't want to spend Christmas in here?" Lena rubbed her throat and coughed a few times. I'm actually not feeling well again."
Theo placed a hand on her forehead, frowning. You haven't got a temperature. Should we, we should wait here for Dr. Wilson. That's an excellent idea, Lena said. Maybe take the chair back to my room until then. Theo chuckled. I didn't mean wait here for Dr. Wilson. Lena, you've been inside for far too long. It will do you some good to get out. There's a lovely museum we can visit, and it's open until 5 o'clock. Lena checked the time. Dr. Wilson and Alexander would be back any minute. But even if she waited until they returned, Alexander would see the chair. The jig would be up. Her best bet was to get out as quickly as she could. On second thought, I want to go now, she insisted, throwing her blankets off and hoisting herself into her chair. I thought you weren't feeling well. I'm better. She pulled a blanket up over her lap. Let's go. At that moment, Dr. Wilson walked into the room. Alexander, right on his tail. His eyes widened when he saw Theo and Lena tried to pull the curtain back, but it was too late. He'd already seen her. Good morning, Theo said happily. Alexander, I'm so pleased to hear that you're feeling stronger. There's something I wish to discuss with you, but it'll have to wait until I'm back. Alexander was too busy staring at Lena to reply. He took a few calculated steps forward, trying to process what he was seeing. Mortified, Lena gripped the sides of her chair, wishing the ground would swallow her up. What's happened to her? Theo looked puzzled. Nothing. In fact, she's better now. But if her leg's okay, why does she need the chair? Theo burst out laughing. Such comedic timing, he said, shaking his head. Alexander gripped the bedpost, baffled. I'm not joking. Why is she sitting in the chair? Theo glanced at Lena, whose face turned crimson. Surely she told you. Lena's been in a wheelchair for most of her life. Aw, that's so sweet. Which slime did she get? I'm so glad that she loves it. Alexander rubbed his eyes. Oh, he replied after a minute. Yes, she did. I've been so tired lately I must have forgotten. Not to worry, but yes, we're lucky she's alive, Theo said, bending down to pinch his daughter's cheeks. Lena tried to bat away his hand, embarrassed at being treated like a small child in front of Alexander. She stole a quick glance at him, but his face was expressionless. Papa, Lena whispered sadly, please, I want to get out of here. Of course, Alexander. I'll be back later, but in the meantime, Mario will be sending your lunch over momentarily. As Lena wheeled herself out, she could feel Alexander's eyes on her, but couldn't bring herself to meet them. The milk went in the forbidden Skittles. Wonderful, I'm so glad she likes them. Mind your business. I think it's a meme. I think it's just things that people say. They come in and they say, fix your lashes. I don't think they're actually... I not only don't think they're trolls, I actually don't think they're actually talking about lashes. I think it's literally just a meme, but I don't know. I could be wrong. We could look it up. I actually don't know the answer. It's also fine to meet them. I really don't care. I don't know what Gen Z does, so it's true. I don't either. Later that day, Theo returned to the infirmary carriage with a few sheets of paper, an envelope, and a pen. He found Alexander sitting up in bed, stroking the dove, which was arching its back periodically and then flopping down in his lap. I'm old, so they're annoying. Oh, good morning, Shira. I didn't even see that you were here this morning. Good morning. Dr. Wilson said you'd be out just after New Year's, Theo said, settling himself on the edge of Alexander's bed. It's wonderful news. He paused and took a deep breath. Alexander, I don't know if you've given any thought to where you'll go once you're better, but you're welcome to stay here. In fact, I'm hoping that you will. He handed some of the pages to Alexander. This is a contract Horace has drawn up. He's agreed to make you a new passport so that no one will know who you really are. We'll keep your identity a secret and train you in the art of illusion. In exchange, you'll receive full room and board. Horace did stipulate that you have to work a few hours in the kitchen each day, but I'm sure I can get you out of that. Theo cleared his throat, fingering the remaining pages in his hands. The second part requires an omission of truth on your part. I don't like lying, but as you'll soon see, I don't think you'll have much of a choice. Theo met Alexander's curious gaze. My desire is to have you join us, and it's not entirely selfless. I've seen the way that my daughter acts around you. You've managed to bring her out of her shell, making her laugh, play, and show more zest for life than she ever has. Theo passed him the remaining pages and an envelope. Earlier today, Lena hid her condition from you because she's ashamed. She tries to remain positive, but the truth is that she's terribly lonely. That's where you come in, he said, pointing to the envelope and papers. You'll find an additional contract, one between us, and a handsome sum. If you agree to stay, you'll receive another payment for each year you choose to remain on tour. All I ask is that you be a friend to my daughter, a good friend, someone who doesn't only spend time with her when it's convenient for them. Alexander stared silently at the contracts and the stack of neatly folded bills. He'd never stayed in one place long enough to form ties with other children. His father had insisted that his family was the only bond worth keeping. But he was pleasantly surprised at how comfortable he felt around Lena, and it was a feeling that he wanted to hold on to. Sir, I like Lena. I don't need a bribe. Your pure but naive intentions, Alexander. My guess is you've never been privy to the boundaries that exist between children who are normal and those who are different. And Lena, my bright, bubbly, caring daughter, is different. She sticks out immediately and has no hope of hiding her condition long enough for people to look past her wheelchair. Children can be so cruel. I've had to stand by and witness her retreating further into her shell as the years go by. However, with you, I see a different side of her, a side I'd like to keep. I want her to be happy here, where she's safe and where I can keep an eye on her. But you must promise to keep this arrangement quiet. No one, not Horace, not Dr. Wilson, not the other children, and especially not Lena, can ever know. But, Alexander said, wrestling with the newfound feeling of wanting to keep this other person in his life, I'll do it for free. You don't have to pay me. But I do, Theo said, his normally smooth facade crackling slightly. A contract removes any ambiguity. If you choose to accept, I'd like you to begin right away. Alexander frowned. That Theo cared about his daughter was obvious enough, but there was something about the way he was acting that made him wonder if there was some bigger reason he wanted him to stay, one that was beyond Lena's social life. So, he began, going over the details in his head, I'd live here the whole time, in these carriages? Theo nodded. Going from town to town? Theo nodded again, a feeling of dread rising inside him at the thought of Alexander turning him down. He needed the boy to stay put. We'll take excellent care of you, and you'll have access to the best of everything. I will, of course, understand if you wish to follow in your father's footsteps. However, should you want to explore an alternate path, I see no better option than what I'm offering you. Alexander was silent. While he felt sick about accepting it, it was a lot of money. It would ensure that he wouldn't need to worry about food or clothes or anything really. His mind circled back to Marseille, Cartagena, and Forte de Marmi, all the times he'd stood outside the music halls, revues, and amphitheaters that dotted the coastal towns of the Mediterranean. His mother would act as a decoy, telling anyone who'd listen that her son had gone missing. She'd plead with them in a distressed voice, begging for help, and Alexander would use this opportunity to take whatever he could. Sometimes it was a few francs, but other times he got lucky, a pair of ruby earrings, a silver bracelet, and one time a Cartier tank watch. At the end of each evening, his mother would wrap her arms around Alexander's shoulders, stretching out to walk back to wherever they'd set up camp for the night. She'd point out the constellations lighting up the midnight blue sky and promise that one day she would take him from Orion to Cassiopeia and back again. If you ever feel lost or frightened, Alexander, just look up. I'm always there, always watching over you, just like a shining star, she whispered in his ear, her breath hot on his face. Alexander remembered feeling her grip tighten and her body tense as they drew closer to where his father was waiting for them, ready to snatch away whatever they'd taken, along with the tiny bits of happiness that they'd have when it was just the two of them. Then the gruesome scene he'd run from flashed in his mind, the abandoned barn, the sirens blaring, the footsteps of the policeman, the gold necklace, and he remembered the last words his father ever spoke to him. You did this, Alexander. Everything you love dies, he rasped. He reached a hand upward, trying to claw at his son's clothing, but Alexander was far too fast for him, especially in his compromised state, and he darted to one side. His father let out a bitter laugh. You want to be a coward? Then go. But remember this, my dear boy. Blood is thicker than water. You cannot outrun who you truly are. But he couldn't say any of this to the man who was looking at him with a mixture of hope and curiosity, so he simply nodded. Where do I sign? Wow. No, we did not know. We did not know that he had been a pickpocket, but it makes sense now why he was able to recognize what the illusionist did, right? Like, that makes sense. We get it, right? Always with us picking these trauma books. How did this happen? Oh, I didn't even know. I mean, I knew that there was going to be stuff because, like, of the time period it's set in, but who knew that it was going to be parental trauma again? My God. Nobody told me that. That wasn't in the blurb. I couldn't have given a trigger warning for that. I didn't know. I guess I'm just drawn to them. Who knew? I guess it just comes naturally. So that's something. So I saw the comments going by a little bit while I was reading that, but I wanted to get off topic. Is making a massive batch of slime in the kiddie pool out of the realm of possibilities? It's not only not out of the realm of possibility, it sounds cool AF. Should we do that? Wait. Will you go comment that on my requests post so that I don't forget it? Because you know my brain and you know that I won't forget when this live is over. But you know, it's like 3 posts back. There's a request post. I will buy a kiddie pool and I will do this. It's over. We're doing that. It's done. I'll do it with my hands. Just go comment it so I don't forget. Miss, I have an Encanto tattoo. Right. We have an Encanto tattoo. Generational trauma lives on your chest. Thank you, Will. I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming here. Do it when it's warm. Obviously, I'm going to do it outside. Yeah, no, I have this little, I'll do it right out here. Look, beep, boop, beep. I'll do it right there when it's not raining. Yeah, I will buy a kiddie pool. I'll do that for you. Yes. But I need you to remind me because you know I will not remember when this live is over because I have a brain that does not do that. Thank you, ADHD. We don't love it. But it is what it is. So yeah, but what I was saying was, Missy was saying like, it is so harsh to hear because like Lena does deserve someone, Dory brain. That's what it is. It's Dory brain. Everyone on the big lives is always like, why do you sound like Dory? And I'm like, I don't know. Why do I sound like Dory, you guys? But it's so hard because poor Alexander is between a rock and a hard place, right? Like he's doing the right thing, saying to Theo, I don't need your money. I'll just do this. I just want to be her friend. That's fine. Like he's willing to take Horace's money, which makes sense. I'll do a job. I'll earn money for doing my job, but he's not looking at being friends with Lena as a job where Theo kind of is. And honestly, on some level, I don't blame him. Like, I don't blame Theo for where he's coming from as a parent. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. It's hard. You don't, and you know Lena is going to be broken when she finds out. She is. But I hope that Theo tells her that Alexander didn't want the money. You know what I mean? I hope for that. Because it's got to be crushing. I mean, it's got to just be absolutely crushing. Can we do something really fun, you guys, with this book? Can we make a dreamcast? Can we dreamcast this book? Oh my God, I want to dreamcast this book. Okay. So I feel like we can cast it as a musical for sure. Yes. Okay. So I think Mandy Patinkin as Theo. You don't think Mandy Patinkin's too old to be Theo? I mean, like maybe 10 years ago? I was thinking Danny Burstein. Is that too on the nose? Is Danny Burstein too on the nose? Hugh Jackman's too attractive. No, Cole, here's the problem. Horace, you might have missed a chapter, but Horace Horace was described as unattractive to women. Hugh Jackman, I don't like him, but a lot of people love him. They are both Jewish, yes. Yeah. Oh, they're both too Jewish. Oh yeah, Horace can't be Jewish. Okay. What about, he's missed both the book. I'm sorry, Cole, I didn't realize. Anthony Rosenthal is Alexander. Oh, look at you. Anthony would work. Who else was I thinking that would work for that? There's a weird part of me that wants to see Aaron Tveit as Theo. I think he's just stepping into his father era, age-wise, as character. And I think him as an illusionist with all the girls falling around him, but like doing tricks and stuff would be such a cool new thing for him. I want to see him as Theo. He could definitely work. I want to see someone like Raul Esparza should be Horace. Oh my gosh, he's attractive, but like, can you imagine Raul Esparza as Horace? He would be so great with that booming voice. Why don't we make him Horace? Kevin Chamberlain, he would be great. I really want Raul Esparza in this now. Okay, wait, hold on. I think, okay, what, I can't remember her name. Guys, we could make a lot of people unattractive. Yeah. Cole just said Zac Efron. Wait, who was the original cast member for the sixth, who is the name of the girl who played Catherine Parr in the original cast of Six? What is her name? She's now going on to be in New York. What is her name? Why can't I think of her name? I actually I marched with her. Like during COVID, I literally marched with her and found her by accident. We didn't know who each other was, and we ran into each other on the street and found out that we knew the same people. No. What's her name? I want her to be Clara. What is her name? Anna something. She's gorgeous. And I know that historically it wouldn't work because she's black, but I think that she would be so amazing as Clara because she's got that classic beauty and no, not Abby Mueller. No, she's the Heart of Gold character. Uzeli, thank you. You got it. Anna. I think she could be Clara. And then okay, we need to think about this. Maybe I'll make a post and we can really go in on it. Raul Esparza, Kevin Chamberlain, Aaron could be the tightrope walker. No, the tightrope walker, isn't he supposed to be super flamboyant? Aaron doesn't play flamboyant well. I've seen him try to do it and it doesn't come off right. Aaron is too, you know what I mean? I've seen him try to play, we can discuss it more in the chat too and send pictures. Exactly. This would be so cool. Let's totally do this and then try to get them to make, oh my God, wouldn't it be fun? Okay. There's so much to be done with this. The only thing is I wish that this would have been in 2006 because if this was in 2006, then Celia Keenan Bolger could be Lena. You know what I mean? If it was 2006. Oh, Ali Stroker. Yeah. She is too old. She is too old for her to, I'm trying to be careful with my words on live, Becca. I would say it in any regular conversation, but on live, I'm trying to be careful for obvious reasons. I don't want to have any issues in this world. So, yeah. I can't remember the name of the actress who played Laura in the Glass Menagerie revival. I can't either. This is the question, though. This is the question, okay? I feel like Lena is the perfect character to introduce a brand new actress who is in a wheelchair, right? Like that is something that we're trying to make strides towards in the industry, is opening up things to differently abled performers. And I think that is the perfect character to surround with already established artists and give her the stage, right? And give her that chance. So I feel like that's the one character we leave and we say, we're looking for someone who already fits this. We're not going to put a traditionally abled actress in a chair. We're going to find someone like Ali Stroker, but young. Ali's great, but as you mentioned, not the right age for this character. We need someone who's 25, or like we need someone in the 25 to 27 range who can play a child is what we need. I don't want an actual child because that causes a whole bunch of different issues. I want someone like Celia Keenan Bolger was in the time of Spelling Bee and all those other things. I want that person in a chair. That's who I want for Lena. Whoever they are, we'll find them. They're out there. We know they're out there. We'll find them. And there's more characters to come, right? Obviously, like I'm sure there's more characters in, and then we need the acrobats, and we need all these things. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be so much fun. I'm here for it. Yeah. Kira Allen is 25. I don't think I know her. Who's Kira Allen? Who's she? I don't know her, but I'm open. I don't know her, but I am open to it. Oh my gosh, who do we want to write the music? What style okay. Who do we want to write the music for this? It has to be classic. It's 1938. Cole is still 5 steps back trying to figure out what you're doing. Oh, Cole, we are making a Dreamcast. A Dreamcast is where you find performers that you would love to play the characters in something that you're into, in in a different incarnation of it. So like if you have a TV show you love, you might Dreamcast the movie, or you might Dreamcast the musical. If you have a book you love, you might Dreamcast whatever. And we're Dreamcasting this as a musical specifically because we are who we are. Yeah. I feel like Jason Robert Brown could really pull off the like Steven Schwartz is, no, Will, get out. Y'all, we are sending Will to the slime dunk tank. That is what we are. We are dipping Will in slime for that. We are literally drowning Will in slime for suggesting that we would ever subject such a good book at the hands of Andrew Lloyd Webber. How dare you? How dare you, sir? I would never. I do think the magicalness of Schwartz could work, but the problem that I have with Schwartz, despite my absolute adoration of him, is that he's too recognizable immediately because he's fallen into a pattern in his older age. It's phenomenal. I love it. But I want this to sound like it could have been plucked from the time period and not from now. Does that make sense? And that's why I kind of like when you listen to Jason Robert Brown's musicals over the course of his career, if you don't know who Jason Robert Brown is, you might not hear the correlation between them. And he does write different styles extremely well. So that's an option. Who plays the new James Bond? I think he sings. I don't know. Jason Robert Brown would work. How dare you, Becca? How dare you? How dare you? But I was also thinking, maybe we just audition new writers on TikTok. Did you see his little video about Lucille's Keys and Parade? I didn't. But there are so many young up-and-coming writers here on TikTok. Why not we just give them a try? You know what I mean? I know this is a Dreamcast, but like maybe someone will write a song for us. Hi, thank you. I love you too. I'm really excited about this. I get so excited about Dreamcasts, like as if they're actually happening. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna play Clara because she's a minor character and it will just allow me to be in the show. I think I'm going to play Clara. I've decided that I will be Clara. We can let Anna be the acrobat. Who wrote the music to Steel Pier? Steel Pier would be great. My daughter loves you. Thank you, Jessica. I'm just kidding. I'm not actually going to be in the show, but I will do the social media for the show. She's like, I would just cast myself in the show. Thank you so much, your daily weird videos. I see you. You don't have to keep saying it, sweetheart. If there's a female version of Horace, I feel like I can play that. Okay, so you have to be on the stage. Yeah, no, I can't be on the stage. But I can be the press rep, and I can cast the show, and I can do other stuff. So this is great. This is exciting, but let's keep reading because we have more to read. When are you going to do a slime post? Probably in like an hour or two. I have one to edit and post in a little bit. Yeah. When you said Dreamcast, I think Cole immediately went to the video game console. Oh, sweet baby. I didn't even know that was a video game console. Cole and I clearly live in different worlds. That's very sweet, Cole. That's very sweet. Okay, let's read chapter 7. Maybe we'll find out more about the characters and maybe it will inform our Dreamcast a little bit more. Okay, chapter 7. By the time the World of Wonders rolled into Copenhagen in mid-January, Dr. Wilson deemed Alexander ready well enough to be up and about. Up to that point, Lena had successfully avoided seeing him, but that day he was being released, and Lena had spent the entire morning fretting over how she was going to stay clear of him. She sat across from Clara in the library, chipping away at a Renoir puzzle that her father had purchased from the Musée de l'Orange at the last time they were in Paris. This goes where the splotch of yellow is. Lena stretched her hand out and tried to slot it into one place. She frowned. It looked like it had been a correct match initially, but it was refusing to slide in perfectly. No matter. It's the right color, so it's bound to be in this section, Clara said. She glanced at Lena as she sorted through the pile of blue and green pieces. Alexander asked about you yesterday, she said casually. That's nice. He's being released today, and he was hoping that you'd show him around later. Lena focused her attention on trying to assemble the bottom border of the puzzle, picking through the pile of pieces, setting aside the ones that were beige and white. Borders, she'd found, were trickier than they looked. Someone else can do that. Lena, Clara said softly. She noticed Lena's lip wobble. He didn't know, did he? Lena shook her head. But he knows now, she sniffled. I can't hide it. He'll probably never want to speak to me again. I just told you that he's been asking for you. Well, why would he want to be friends with me? I can think of a number of reasons. You're kind, smart, curious. You're excellent at board games. Clara slotted a piece of the border that Lena was working on, smoothing over the bit where the two pieces met. You know, each time Mother writes me with news of a potential suitor, it makes my blood boil. None of them ever work out. Did I tell you about the one who, after I'd agreed to meet him, kept me waiting at the town fair for over an hour? It was only because his cousin was much nicer than him, mind you, and dragged him away from whatever bottle he'd been drowning in that he bothered to show up at all. Awful people, I tell you, Clara shuddered. That's rude, Lena said, slotting another piece in at the bottom of the edge, pausing to admire her handiwork. It is, and I could let that stop me from ever trying again. It's so hard to keep experiencing that kind of disappointment. Clara glanced at Lena. But if I didn't try, I'd still be in the same position. By not trying, nothing changes. By trying, I could meet someone who leaves me waiting for hours, but I could also meet someone wonderful. Lena dissolved into tears, and Clara moved her chair around the table, draping an arm over the young girl's shoulders. It hurts, Lena hiccuped. All I want is one friend. I know, Clara said, squeezing her. However, sometimes a fresh perspective is all one needs. Take Alexander. You're worried about what he'll think of you, but have you ever thought about what he's going through? Perhaps he's reaching out because he's lonely. Why would he be lonely? How could he not be? He doesn't know anyone here, and he just lost his parents. Did you ever think that maybe he needs you more than you need him? Lena had never thought about it that way, but she remembered being teased for wearing metal on her lower body and the sadness that stabbed her each time that she watched the other children playing hide and seek, not bothering to include her. How could she risk exposing herself to that kind of pain again? No, The chance is too low. But there's always a chance. Clara pushed 2 red pieces together, creating a small flower in the bouquet. So what do you say? You give Alexander a chance and I'll respond to Mother about the latest potential chap from Hampstead named Maurice. Clara frowned. I'm not sure I trust people named Maurice. Lena arranged a line of yellow puzzle pieces deep in thought. I don't feel like it, she announced after a few moments. She expected Clara to argue with her, but she just shrugged. All right, I've said what I needed to. But remember something, Lena. Try or don't try, Clara said, snapping the final piece of the bouquet into place. Time will pass anyway. Because it's mid-tour, we have no rooms available, Theo said, leading Alexander out of the infirmary carriage later that afternoon. But Horace has agreed to let you stay in the helps' quarters. Now, if you go down here... As Theo continued talking, Alexander looked around. The circus was a labyrinth network of carriages and rooms, all connected by a series of hallways and passages that seemed to go on forever. Alexander twisted his head from side to side, taking in the different scenes that caught his eye as he followed the illusionist. When they came to a bend in the hallway, Alexander caught sight of 2 young children giggling with delight, just as a juggler balanced on a unicycle and tossed balls into the air. Whilst ordinarily this would not warrant a second glance, the balls turned into whatever animal the children asked for while still airborne. Lion! The older one yelled. The juggler clapped his hands and the yellow ball morphed into a stuffed baby lion and came to rest in front of the boy's feet. To Alexander's left, out in the open air, he glimpsed 2 contortionists twisting their bodies into unthinkable shapes around ice-white branches of a cluster of birch trees. They were wearing white and silver leotards, giving off the effect that they were one with nature. He had to blink twice before he was able to separate the humans from their surroundings. It's a bit overwhelming at first, but you'll soon get used to it. Yes, this is a chapter book. After a few more minutes of walking, they reached the cluster of residential carriages. Each door was made out of heavy oak and stained dark blue. A gold room number in Roman numerals was displayed on each one. As he tried to keep pace with Theo, Alexander noticed a series of portraits, framed in gold, on one side of the hallway. They looked like performers who had since left the circus, their roles permanently etched in time and displayed for all to see. He shuddered, feeling the eyes in the picture follow him, wondering who this new recruit was. The eyes? Theo asked, chuckling. Alexander didn't want to appear afraid, but the portraits were scaring him, and he nodded reluctantly. It's an optical illusion. You'll find that many things here are not what they seem, Theo replied, and Alexander saw a twinkle in his eye. They turned right and approached a dimly lit corridor, walking in silence to an unmarked door at the end. I'm afraid this is all we had available. Theo twisted a golden key on a blue velvet ribbon into the lock and flicked on a light switch. It's called the CIRCUS TRAIN. Alexander gasped. The room was bigger than any place he'd ever stayed. On one side was a single bed with a plush blue cover and 4 plump pillows woven with silk golden threads. On the other side stood a dresser and a small closet. A side table nestled neatly in the space between the bed and the dresser. Alexander shook his head in disbelief. All his life, he'd never had a room of his own, certainly not one that came close to having a door that locked or a bed that wasn't fashioned out of scraps of old fabric stitched together, albeit lovingly, by his mother. I gave Martha your measurements for Christmas. If you check the drawers, I gave Martha your measurements before Christmas. If you checked the drawers, I'm sure you'll find everything you need. Right, Leo said, heading to the door. I'll leave you to get settled in. Dinner's at 7. Wait, Alexander said. Yes? Alexander's eyes darted around before coming to rest on the illusionist. There's no police here? No one will find me? Theo smiled. Alexander, you have my word. No one will know who you are or how to find you. Well, we have to get whoever did the magic stuff for Cursed Child. Yes, for sure that. You're safe. Alexander held his gaze for a moment. Thank you. If you get lost on your way to dinner, just inhale. I'm sure your nose will guide you, Theo said, winking as he left. After he closed the door, Alexander opened the chest of drawers. Sure enough, stacks of colored shirts and sweaters, fresh underclothes, and at least 10 pairs of matching socks in blue, black, and gray stared back at him. On the floor beneath, he saw 2 pairs of leather shoes, one black, one brown, lined up neatly next to each other. He slid his foot into one of the shoes and closed his eyes. He'd never owned a pair of shoes that wasn't lifted from a rubbish heap, and the feeling of the smooth, clean insoles nearly brought tears to his eyes. He opened the drawers of his dresser again and ran his fingers over the soft cotton tops and warm woolen sweaters, nuzzling one against his cheek. But this hadn't been the plan, Alexander thought. Shutting the drawer and sitting on his new bed, he wasn't supposed to have been caught, contracted bronchitis, broken any bones, or been taken in by these people at all. It was supposed to have been a routine procedure, the easiest kind. Into the carriage and out. Take what you need and go. Leave no trace behind. Alexander winced, thinking about what his father would have said at his current predicament. A weak, useless boy. Can't even be trusted to pull off a simple job. Anya, I'm telling you, he wouldn't survive a day in the wild alone. He clamped his hands over his ears. It wasn't his fault. Everything had happened so fast. He stood up, trying to shake off the memory of the worst day of his life and trying to focus on the present. He liked the affable illusionist and his daughter, but he certainly didn't trust them. Alexander weighed his options. The money Theo had given him was enough to start on his own, following in his father's footsteps. On the other hand, he had no idea where to go and no family to return to for help. Plus, he was still getting weekly checkups from Dr. Wilson. If he left now, he'd be on the run indefinitely, living hand to mouth and always looking behind him. If he stayed, he would at least be protected from the authorities and receive medical care that he needed. Alexander reached out and ran his hand over the gilded blue velvet lining the carriage walls. The circus owner had money, that much was obvious. If he didn't like it here, he'd stay until he built up a healthy son and was feeling strong again, and then he would take what he wanted and go. He just had to make sure that no one found out the truth about who he was. He took out the items that he'd managed to squirrel away while holed up in the infirmary, a sleeve of soda crackers, a packet of Smith's crisps, and 2 Cadbury flake bars, a bottle of ginger beer, and he'd also taken one of Dr. Wilson's stethoscopes after hearing how expensive they were, as well as a few rolls of white bandages. And then he took his mother's necklace, a delicate chain with a golden star pendant with a diamond gleaming at its center. A bolt of sadness shot through him. He hadn't stopped to grieve or think about how much he missed her, but there was no time for that now. He crouched down on the floor near the closet. Using the edge of his room key, he pried at one of the floorboards until it came undone, and then he tucked the items into the cavity below, replacing the floorboard. His father had taught him that he could never get too comfortable. Trust no one, Alexander. He needed to be ready to run. Lena wheeled herself slowly down the hallway towards Alexander's room, coming to a halt outside. She looked down at the deck of cards and the sleeve of Jaffa cakes and 2 bottles of ginger beer in her lap. Was she really going to do this? Risk everything just to be friends with someone who would probably desert her in a few weeks? And then she thought about what Clara had said. Try or don't try, time will pass anyway. She swallowed and knocked on the door. Alexander opened it, and almost immediately her nerves turned to concern. Are you all right? She asked, taking in his red eyes. Yes, it's just the dust, Alexander replied, rubbing at his eyelids. He looked hollow, like someone had sucked the life out of him. Hello, by the way, he said, brightening and standing up straight, his old self starting to come back. Where have you been? Lena watched him carefully. If she'd known better, she would have asked why he'd been crying, but she didn't know him, not really, and in that brief moment of vulnerability on his part was now gone, replaced by a huge smile, so she shrugged it off and held up the deck of cards. Rummy? Alexander grinned and moved out of the way to let her in. Cole, you're amazing. Okay, the next chapter, chapter 8, is only like 3 pages, so we might as well just do it, right? I didn't put my watch on. Does anyone know what time it is? I don't know what Jaffa cakes are. I've never had one. Are they delicious? Really? All right, let's just finish chapter 8 real quick. Yeah, we have plenty of time. It's only 7:49. We got time. 3 pages. We can do it. Chapter 8. Later that week, Lena gave Alexander a grand tour of the carriages. She pointed out the secret hiding spot where Mario kept his tins of Cadbury biscuits, proudly detailed the history of every single costume in the wardrobe carriage, and beat him handily at darts in the game room. She saved the Mirage maze for the last because it was her maze and a special place that her father had created for her. On previous seasons' tours, Lena had accompanied Theo to a castle at Sitzadob, and she remembered her father shaking her awake after the hours-long trip from I don't know how to say this place, Debrecen, and marveling at the 52-room castle, which belonged to the powerful Andrassi family during their reign. One for each week of the year. Imagine if you lived here. You could stay in a different room every single week, Theo had said, chuckling. It's a chocolate orange type thing. It looks like a little moon pie. Interesting. But it was the maze in the garden that truly astounded her. Her father explained that it was like a puzzle that she had to solve. You keep going until you come out on the other side. Well, what's on the other side? Well, you have to go there to find out. So Lena pushed herself through, turning her wheels slowly, eventually ending up back at the beginning. At one point, she stopped to study a caterpillar dangling from a twig before realizing that her father was no longer with her. Papa! She turned, trying to orient herself, but each time she was met with brambles and twigs. Papa! She yelled more urgently, her voice shaking and the hedges suddenly large and overwhelming. Lena? Theo's voice floated through the thicket. You can get out. Just put your hands on the hedge and keep following it. Don't stop until you've reached me. Lena noted the sinking sun overhead and wiped her tears. Why can't you come find me? You can do this. Don't be afraid. Follow the hedge with your hand. Lena hiccuped but clutched her wheels, determined to keep trying. She pushed herself forward, keeping her right hand softly on the hedge. She kept going, even though it felt like she was going back the way she'd come. When she finally spotted an opening, she saw her father waiting and burst into tears. Papa, I thought I'd lost you forever, she said, sobbing in relief. Theo laughed. My dear, the maze is only a few feet long. He patted her head. In Greek, we have a saying, epimeno, he said. It means to persist. If you think about it, life is like one long maze. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes we get stuck. But if you persist, if you find it within yourself to endure the hardships, you will reach your goal. Lena buried herself deeper into her father's arms. I have an idea. Yeah, Theo is Greek. Yeah. Raul could definitely pass for Greek. Easily. He's definitely got that look. I have an idea, Theo said. We shall make you a maze, and it will be a magical maze with a secret hiding spot. You will be the queen of this maze. We'll build it together and start from nothing so that you'll know every twist and turn inside out. You'll see that there's nothing to be afraid of. Lena stopped crying and looked up. The promise of something built solely for her did pique her interest. Back at the circus grounds, Theo had barely gotten this idea out of his mouth before Horace agreed to it. And so the Mirage Maze was built, constructed out of 250 curved mirrored panels of equal length and width. The width of the pedestrian path was made extra wide, and Theo and his team of engineers worked to make sure that the corners were curved and allowed easy maneuverability for Lena. Lena arrived each morning as soon as the work began, intent on overseeing the entire operation. What none of the builders knew was that Theo was working behind the scenes to create a secret passage accessible only to his daughter. When the builders had a day off, Theo got his chance. He led Lena straight to the maze's center, where a miniature clock tower spiraled up from the middle. Is there anything here? Theo asked. Lena frowned, twisting her body around. The mirrors disoriented her, and she began to feel her heart racing, like she was trapped again. Theo placed his hand on one of the panels and pushed gently. The panel collapsed inward to reveal a hidden space. Lena gasped. Oh, you're late, but I'm going to put them up. Don't worry. Theo's so sweet. I know, he is. He's so sweet. Yeah, I'm starting to put the days up on YouTube so that people can go back and listen if they want. So don't worry. No stress. Lena wheeled herself, oh, excuse me, I missed something. Lena gasped. It's modeled after a Proteus cabin. Go on, it's yours. Lena wheeled herself into the cool space directly under the clock tower. If her father hadn't shown her, she never would have known it existed. When the doors were hinged together, Theo explained, they reflected on the other side of the mirror, giving off the illusion that there was nothing there. Only Lena and Theo knew about it. Testing, testing. We see you. We see the test. If you're ever afraid, you can come here and no one will find you. Oh, that sounds like it's going to be important. A secret hiding place in 1938? Come on now, friends. We know where this is headed, right? The Mirage maze was built up at each stop the circus visited. Horace had initially envisioned it as a cheap distraction to keep the children preoccupied while they waited for their parents to finish their cocktails, but it ended up being the highlight of the tour. On any given night, hordes of tourists ran through, banging the sides of the mirrors obnoxiously, pulling their faces in the reflections, and creating an extra source of income to Horace's delight. Lena explained all of this to Alexander, but took great care to leave out the secret cabin. They continued to make their way through, Lena watching as Alexander guided his fingers along the mirrors and at the corners, stopping every few minutes to reorient himself as they edged closer and closer to the center. Lena bit her lip. Should she tell him? The Proteus cabinet was one of 2 secrets that she had, the other being Alexander's true identity. But what good was a secret if you couldn't share it with anyone else? If I show you something, she began. Alexander's fingers came to a halt. They'd reached the center of the maze, and Lena was watching as his eyes flickered up to gaze briefly at the clock tower. Show me what? If I show you something, she continued, do you promise never to tell anyone about it? Of course I promise. Lena pushed at the middle of the mirror panel, enjoying the look on Alexander's face. She demonstrated how the cabinet worked and let him try the door. As he unlatched and latched the secret panel, mesmerized, Lena imagined the 2 of them hiding in here during shows. It's amazing, he said, gliding his hand across the panel. Lena beamed. She was thrilled that Alexander approved, that something of hers impressed him. But something about this place frightens you, he continued. Lena's smile faltered. What do you mean? Alexander frowned. He'd known she was afraid as soon as they entered the maze. Her fear was written in her quick, dark glances, anticipating a monster that never materialized. To truly know a person, Alexander, do not ask him who he is. Rather, observe what he does. His father had trained him well. People always told you who they were if only you knew what to look for. But he didn't want Lena to know this. Nothing. Forget it, he said, walking ahead nonchalantly. Lena quickly rolled after him and grabbed at his sleeve. Promise you won't tell anyone about the cabinet, she pleaded. Remember, I know a secret about you, too, she said, fully aware that anyone finding out about Alexander being a Jew was far riskier than her childhood hiding spot being exposed. But it was the only thing that she felt was truly hers and hers alone. Please, I kept your secret, she said, unknowingly echoing the same words that her mother had spoken nearly a decade earlier. You have to promise to keep mine. Very interesting. Very interesting. The book is The Circus Train, Will, and I am, because a lot of people have been missing stuff, I'm posting the full lives with the readings on YouTube. I posted the first one yesterday. Yeah, her mother's secret, I guess. I'm impatient and I want to know the secret. We all want to know the secret. We want to know all the secrets, but we don't know them. We can't know them until we read. But I'm putting them up on YouTube where we can have longer videos and you can see the whole thing if you missed it. So no stress about that. I'll put another one up today. Yeah, so Dreamcast video is going to be coming and we're going to debate the Dreamcast for this as we get further and further into it. I'm so excited to Dreamcast this. It's brand new, so like anything could happen, but like what a great tagline, right? A war, a forbidden love, one girl's survival. Is your YouTube linked in your bio? Yes, it is. My YouTube is linked in my bio. Yes, absolutely. I was so panicked about book club. Yeah, no, Missy, for you and for people like Quinn and Tiffany and other people who are missing it, I'm definitely uploading them, so don't even worry. I have to download the videos after they get rendered, so they're a little late getting uploaded. David Corns for set design, yes. So I'll post a video about the Dreamcast, and we can all post like our discussions about it, and we can go back and forth. Who should direct? Alex Timbers, obviously. Come on. I didn't know that. I just kept typing key things till I found her. Honestly, I didn't think to check. Yeah. Yes, my YouTube is Broadway Crafts. It's just Broadway Crafts. I love him. I love his direction. I love his face. I know. He did Rocky, and I've loved him ever since. When we were working on Rocky, all of us girls and others who were like, you know, like giggling little girls around, like who were like into Alex Timbers, the song Timber had just come out. And so we would like go around singing like, it's going down, I'm yelling timber. Anytime he would like do something that we loved, it was awful and terrible and we shouldn't have done it, but we did anyway. So yeah, that is what we did because we were, but like what kind of crazy theater girls are like in love with a director? You know what I mean? Like ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if I would call it amazing, but it was definitely funny. I know it was such cringe, Will. First thing I saw that he directed was Robber Bridegroom. Oh, I never saw that. But good morning. I like this way to share culture. It's a good reading. I like it too. I like it a lot. It's my daughter's birthday today. Can't wait to give the kids a time. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Happy birthday party day. And then the other... Shira. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to go and get started on things. Catherine and Zoe will be here on the sooner side, and I want to make the Dreamcast video and post a slime video before it's too late. So I'm going to go do that, and then I'll see you all later because we are having a slime live tonight. I have another custom order to make, so I'll make it on live tonight. I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.